Hi, I'm Johnny. I'm a global artist ambassador for FENIX360, and I am blessed to be joined today by the recording artist, Joe Villion. Hey, Joe, how are you, brother? Good to see you, man.
I'm great, Johnny. How about you?
I'm doing super too. Hey, listen, I really appreciate connecting with you, man. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of your music, some of your recently produced music. So if it's cool with you, okay, if we tune into your track, Lots of You in My Life.
Oh, go for it.
Excellent. All right, everybody, let's now tune in to Joe Villion with Lots of You in My Life.
Spring and summer unfolding. You're the one I love holding. It's hardly coincidence when it's meant to be. Riding up to the coast of Maine, the sun breaking through, just a little bit of rain. I'm so happy when it's me and you. I got lots of you in my life. I got lots of you in my life. Holding you tight in the middle of the night. Lots of you in my, lots of you in my life. I got lots of you in my life. Holding you tight, the middle of the night. Lots of you in my. Perfect day, what could compare? Maybe we'll go ride with the chestnut mare. Sit on the wall and watch the water so blue. Aw man, just me and you. I said lots of you in my life. I love lots of you in my life. Holding you tight in the middle of the night. Lots of you and my. Spring and summer, they're unfolding. And I'm holding. So happy, me and you.
Hey, Joe, beautiful, man. Great to share your music with everybody. Thanks so much, man. Now, let me
Thank
ask you
you.
a question. Can you tell me some of the inspiration behind that track? How did it come together?
Well, I'm the piano player here at where I live. Three doors down, we have a piano and we have coffee hour every Friday. And they recruited me to play piano like 2 years ago almost, right? And so I go in the middle of the night and I go in all hours, and I record new songs. And so, when there's someone you care about and someone you like, and I start writing this song, and I decided to like, oh, let's use an old Carole King kind of motif, but kind of throw Lou Reed in there as well.
How
And
nice.
that's how I created like end of March, early April, and I cut a demo April 6th, right? Then I sent it off to Peter Kalo in New York. And he shapes the sound and then ships it back, and we go out to Dedham and sing it. So that's how it evolved over a period of a couple of months. And we got the government grant from the Everett Cultural Council and the Mass Cultural Council. Two different grants for two different projects, which is very hard to get. I'm very pleased. Right. So we're doing a documentary film and a new CD, and this will be on both
Well,
this
that's
track.
excellent. Joe, I mean, to get that kind of support, you know what I mean, from both exactly, the councils as well as some of the collaboration that you had in terms of the talent associated with creating the track. Can you tell me a little bit about those individuals that helped you establish it?
I'm very honored. Okay, so like the mastering engineer did the entire Bob Marley catalog.
Wow.
It's Rob Fraboni. He did the band's Last Waltz. I think he's giving a lecture on it tonight with Martin Scorsese or something. All these years later, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so I met Keith Richards introduced me to Rob Fraboni. So what happened was I was managing Jimmy Miller from my association with the French label, right?
Uh-huh.
And they offered me the Johnny Thunders tapes. I said, well, I got to meet Jimmy Miller. He's my favorite producer. I end up managing him. Brings me to a Keith Richards session. Keith introduces me to Rob, and now I'm working with Rob. So it's just, I'm blessed. And he's got this amazing reel feel, which makes your music sound like analog, like vinyl, when it's actually online, right? So he mastered it. Peter Kalo I've known for 40 years, and Peter plays with a lot of classic rock artists. Leslie Gore, Dobie Gray, they're gone now. And I work with Bobby Hebb, the late Bobby Hebb. I'm the producer for his estate. So I needed Peter for a Bobby Hebb session. He couldn't make it because he was doing Jimmy Webb. I'm saying, oh, Webb instead of Hebb. Remember, Beautiful
Yeah,
Balloon
right.
and all that stuff. So people are, involved in so many projects. Rob is working with Zach Starkey right now, Ringo's son. They're doing a major project, and I'm doing a project with Rob, and then I'm working with Peter, and he's working with The Happenings and Billy J. Kramer. So in this 2024, a lot of artists are interacting with other people. It's really fascinating.
Absolutely. And I think they can connect more easily through this digital capability we have. You know what I mean? And think about, your storied career, all these decades in terms of how challenging it may have been to communicate and where now we can do it in real time.
I was
But
at the typewriter for
yeah,
Jimmy Miller Productions. I'm at the typewriter, and we had JoJo Lane as part of the organization, Denny Lane's ex-wife from Wayne's. So we had this, and JoJo and Jimmy and I would fly, California to New York and get our business done. It
yeah.
was a time, but it was all by typing.
Yeah. So listen, I got to tell you what, Joe, that leads me to my next question. Like, how did you get involved initially in music at all? How did it all start for you?
This tracks back to Father's Day, like a few days ago.
Uh-huh.
Because on Father's Day for my dad, who's 94, God bless him, I recorded him. He's my first recording in
Okay.
1971 and 1972. Well, the tape survived because the Radio Shack tape was really excellent tape.
Uh-huh.
So we took it and made an album, and I got Peter on it and Kenny Seltzer and all these great people, right? And Fraboni mastered it, of course. But we have Green Green Grass at Home, and I wanted to update it, the original tape. We got fiddles on it now, and also so for Father's Day, I had my engineer Larry Lassard do a new mix for my dad. We got a couple of mixes, but it spans the 53 years I've been recording. I mean, from my dad to Bobby Hebb, to Marty Ballin of the Jefferson Airplane, to Buddy Guy and Nils Lofgren. Those are the people I've worked with.
Yeah,
So
it's incredible. So it
but
really
it started with Dad's tape recorder and then my tape recorder. And on my tape recorder, I made the records. And you never know when you're a kid, 17 years old, that's the stuff you're using it when you're 70.
Yeah, no question. In fact, I think it's inspiring. And many artists, I feel, had some either situation where it was their parents or an aunt or uncle or maybe even church or something that was happening on Sundays that get them inspired by music, where they first were exposed to it, got their first instrument and that kind of thing. But the irony is, with you in particular, with all the different hats you've worn through music, is the back end production aspect of developing music. And you've seen that change so much over the years in terms of how tracks are established and mastered, etc. So can you tell me a little bit about that evolution? What's it like now compared to the old days?
Well, it's like do it yourself, right? Tommy James was thrown in the studio by Morris Levy. Morris wanted Tommy, all the labels wanted Tommy. Morris grabbed him, but he just threw Tommy in the studio. So I've interviewed Tommy 3 times, and he's a great guy. And he had to learn by doing. He came out with those great productions, Crimson and Clover. That's all him.
Wow.
And that's magnificent. But he learned on his own. But he had Morris throwing him in the studio and funding it. So we independent artists in the Boston scene, we just, you have your tape recorder at home, you play with it. and then you go in the studio, and then you learn by doing it. You work with some great people, and I have a TV show like you do, and that's how I met Bobby Hebb, actually, and we became very close friends
Oh,
because of my TV show. You know, Jodie Foster's been on, and Ray Manzarek of The Doors. So I get to meet all these wonderful people and exchange ideas. But in Bobby's case, we became friends, and now I produce for the estate.
oh, that's
So I have the box set of Bobby Hebb. I mean, people know Sonny, they know A Natural Man, the two songs that won Grammys. They don't know his catalog. He's got a vast catalog. So it's my job to get that work out there, along with producing these documentaries like on Marty Ballin of the Airplane. I did a 2.5 hour documentary on him. Now we're doing Rob Fraboni.
That's
So
beautiful. And of course, I have always been, to my own heart, Bob Marley and, reggae music in general has always been really, I've gravitated toward it. I feel like it's healing music. I'm grateful for you and your contributions in it as well. And of course, Rob, in terms of everything that he magically put together with regard to that incredible band and individual and Bob. So looking forward to more actually creations of yours. It's ironic, but you're from Boston or the Massachusetts area, and you've actually helped a lot of artists out of that marketplace actually come to fruition, haven't you?
we did the anthology series. So every few years we put out an anthology of Boston music.
Uh-huh.
And who knew we're like the only city in the world that has like 21, 24 volumes of local music. I thought everyone would be doing it. But there's no New York anthology series or London. It's all Boston, and it's my series. And it's like, wow, we put all these artists out, and it's a time capsule. Who knew at the time? In fact, the first of the series, Boston Rock and Roll, the second series we started, the Rolling Stones producers in my house is coming off the truck. And Jimmy Miller said to me, what a great idea.
Yes.
Local, he's an A&R man for Island, as Rob Fraboni was. They both worked at Island. They both worked on Goat's Head Soup together. So it was kind of meant to be that I'm working with these two guys. But Jimmy watched what we were doing locally. Here's an A&R man now watching the do-it-yourselfers, and he was impressed because
Wow.
it was a whole different thing from working at Island, watching me do it on the Boston scene.
Sure. And of course, what I mean, Beantown and just, they just had a recent, won another championship, and that there's a storied kind of sports environment in Boston that's so well known, but perhaps the music, that originates from that location, you've been really instrumental, no pun intended, in terms of pushing those artists forward and discovery and this is the kind of work I like to do, is creating opportunities for others to discover these artists and their talents, but to hear, your story and whom you collaborated with, really tremendous. Now, let me ask
Right over there, I've got the first autograph Aerosmith ever gave professionally to me at a Humble Pie concert because they weren't known. And I just wanted to, and I said, Stephen, can I have your autograph? And he goes, you want Joe Perry's too? And I'm like, who's Joe Perry, right?
Right.
Now, Joe Perry's a personal friend because his two wives work with me. And Billy and Joe sent a note that they love lots of you in my life. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Peter Nooner, Herman's Hermits, Joe, what a great hook.
Uh-huh.
The head of the MBTA police department loves the song. Joe, you still got it. So, I mean, this is the, it's a song I wrote for the world. I wanted a girl in London to be able to go into a karaoke bar and sing my song because it meant something to her. I wanted to write a song. Yeah, it's about me, but it's not. It's for the world to take and have fun with.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got someone that they want lots of you in my life.
Yeah. And Joe, it is celebratory and it is appreciating, it's about gratitude, and of course, those are themes also that pervade through reggae music, which I always really love. But the way you do it and being able to communicate and collaborate with all these different kinds of people from different walks of life, different artistry, but to have the kind of chemistry that they want to work with you and appreciate connecting with you for this purpose, it's really kind of testimony to your own kind of essence and what your signature frequency is and what you're bringing to this industry and to the world the legacy of this song, I think, is going to last, enduring, and be a long-lasting legacy.
Well, thank you for that. Yesterday the technology guys were here and I played them the song, and I'm playing it on the piano, playing the recorded music, but I'm playing the piano to it. And they were saying, what a great production. I said, we don't even think about it. We just do it, and we're doing it for fun, and the production's there. But all these 53 years, you just kind of go in and record, and oh, that sounds great, and it's done. You know? And Peter Kalo's guitar is so amazing on it.
Sure. Now, listen, let me ask this question with regard to your digital domains in terms of, how people can learn about you, reach you, maybe access your tracks. Where would they be doing that? Where would they look to find you?
There's a G in my last name, so it's Joe Viglione or Viglione.com. And that'll lead you down the rabbit hole.
Excellent. Yeah, because we want to start with your site, but we're also looking forward to you being on the FENIX360 app platform as it basically evolves and people be able to discover you there too, Joe. So listen.
Well, DistroKid has us on Spotify, Deezer.
So all digital platforms.
24 at least platforms.
And are you active on platforms like Instagram and other things like that?
Yeah, Instagram, LinkedIn. I just did all that today because lots of you in my life, God bless, is getting airplay. So I got Amazing Radio and Lonely Oak Radio and North of Boston Radio. They're all playing it. So I screenshot, send it on Twitter, then Facebook, then LinkedIn, then Threads, Instagram. You just want to get the song known by the world. And the hashtags and music supervisors, we want it in a movie. So music supervisors who get music for film, I'm tagging them all.
All right, cool, man.
Hear my tune.
Well, we will look for your progress then, Joe, because I know there's going to be some more collaborations and other kinds of contributions that you continue to make. So I want everyone to tune in to the social media links you see below our interview today for Joe Viglione and look for his rise on FENIX360. And brother, it has been my pleasure and honor, man. Blessings and respect.
John, it's been a blast. Thank you so much.
All right. Peace.
Yeah, we got lots of love in our lives. Oh, spring and summer unfolding and folding. Lots of you in my life. Lots of you in my life. Yeah, I got lots of you in my life. I'll be your husband. I'll be your wife. Lots of you in my, 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 lots of you in my.